All right, traders, I just had my best trading day to close out the month of September. We just finished quarter three trading very, very strong. I ended up buying put options towards the exact top at the market open using our key 432 gap close reversal level. I'll be teaching you the trading strategy that we are using to short the SPY and buy put options right before the SPY crashes so you can get in on those puts instead of buying calls on a false breakout or buying into a fake out, getting trapped at the peak. But it did not stop there because my second trade on the day was buying call options when there was a bullish 30-minute confirmation at our key level yesterday to buy calls, which was the 427 zone. I ended up buying those calls at 2:50 p.m. 10 minutes later, those calls shot up over 100%. I made a $6,000 profit on that trade in 10 single minutes. And I also ended up making a $1,500 profit on puts this morning, putting me up $7,500 on the day. With that being said, I will teach you the exact trading strategies that we used to buy calls at the exact lows and to buy puts towards the exact top. For the time being, when I was trading, the entries were timed exact perfectly. Let's get straight into the analysis. So in terms of Trader Society, you guys are well aware that Fridays are known for being my best trading days. I traded my plan both ways to an exact T using the proper confirmation, and it ended up paying off. As you can see right here, if you went back to yesterday's video, the plan was to buy put options and to go short on the market when SPY closes the gap at $432.20. I had stated that plan at least 3 times within the past 4 trading videos that I posted, which ended up being literally the exact top of the pre-market highs. If you take a look at the pre-market highs, as you can visually see, the SPY ended up topping at $432. So you're probably wondering, well, Will, your level was $432.20. Like I said in my video yesterday, I'm not going to nickel and dime this. So what I ended up doing was I ended up using 2 strategies on 1 trade, and using this second strategy ended up getting me in at a slightly lower entry. And that slightly lower entry was the exact top on the SPY today. So let's go over it. In terms of the trading strategy that we use, what we do is we identify when the SPY has a massive gap down. And if this happens at a major resistance level on the daily chart, then even better. And there's also daily patterns and confirmations that we use. This is where it gets a lot more advanced, where we can confirm if it's going to have a reversal once it closes and fills this gap. But the main point that I'm making is the SPY ended up having a massive gap down in price at $432.20. This means all of the bulls who ended up swing trading calls got absolutely destroyed because the SPY quickly had a massive drop within 2 days, all the way down to $422. So if the SPY is going to gap down and drop 10 points within 2 days, and then it's going to spike right back up just as fast as it went down within 2 days, what do you think is going to happen? Do you think it's going to break above 432 and turn that into a support level? Or do you think all of the bag holder people who bought calls learn their lesson and they're getting out break even, or they're selling here and they're doing put options? I think the market's going to crash at 432. And I brought awareness to this days in advance, and this was the exact top. So that's the strategy, gap close reversal. We look for the SPY to have a massive gap down. We look for a bigger the drop, the better. The quicker it happens, the better. And then we want a quick recovery, right? So this is exactly what you would want. A 10-point, 10-point drop within the past 2 days. And then what happens after that? It goes up 10 points in 2 days. So that's where we're going to go short. All the bulls got trapped here. It's going to try to reverse when it closes the gap. Now you're probably wondering, Will, the gap didn't fill. Since the gap didn't fill, Will, I decided that I wasn't going to do puts. I wanted to wait for the gap to fill. Well, you're not in Trader Society, because in terms of what Trader Society ended up doing, we ended up doing put options at a slightly lower entry. And this has to do with a second trading strategy that I teach. This is the beauty of having multiple trading strategies. It can get you in at a different entry when you stack them all together and give you more confidence on the trade. If I type in 432 puts within my chat, you're going to see right here at 9:59 a.m., I'm alerting puts at the exact high at 432 puts, 9:59 a.m. Why did I decide to buy and alert puts literally right here? This is 9:59 a.m., almost the exact high of day. Why did I do it? How did I do it? My chat already knows because I made a video explaining the trade in real time, but in terms of recapping it, let's go over it. I understood that SPY was having a gap close reversal in the pre-market. It topped at 432 and it began to sell off. So my thesis was already panning out. So what I told myself was, what is the support level that has not been retested? This level right here. As you can see, there was some consolidation in the pre-market at 431.60. This was key support in the pre-market, and it was the higher support within the pre-market. Once the SPY cracked this support level, it never spiked back up. So if it's going to have a nice little drop and it's going to show signs of a gap close reversal since it's crashing from the gap, when the SPY spikes back up to this previous support, it's going to try to form a new lower high, and it's going to try to react as a resistance because it's falling and it's already going bearish like it was supposed to do at 432.20. So instead of trying to target puts at 432 or 432.20, trying to nickel and dime this, we identified that it was already going bearish because it's already crashing from the level we were interested in. So we take the next lower consolidation level, which was right here. It was at 431.60 and 431.45. That was the next put zone where they're going to try to form new lower highs and new resistance instead of going back to this higher resistance because the SPY is already getting crushed and dropping. Don't you understand? When the key support cracks, they're going to try to turn that into a new resistance level and a new lower high instead of spiking it back to 432 or 432.20. So me having that knowledge and that education is the reason why I did not wait for 432.20 to hit, which ended up getting me in at the exact top. And it wasn't FOMO. It was me adding the second trading strategy. You must be equipped with multiple strategies. You must be able to use price action to your advantage. Now, this is where it gets absolutely crazy. So I did my puts. I made my $1,500 profit within minutes. Then I told my team, I'm calling it for the day. I'm green on the day. I'm going to call it. And then this is what I told my team. I'm going to wait for calls because I like trading at the best levels possible. So like I told you guys in yesterday's video, the SPY was supposed to have, based on the daily pattern, go back and watch yesterday's video because in order to understand this one, you need to watch yesterday's video as well. It's a storyline. It keeps on going. And the real-time story is within Trader Society. But anyways, in terms of the trading plan, like I said, man, the pattern I'll be watching is a morning drop. So SPY ended up gapping up and it hit our key level and it had the morning drop. So I did puts towards our level, right? And then I said, it's going to try to have a bullish recovery. It's going to try to close strong on the day and have a bullish recovery. And my levels to buy calls were right here. It was at $427.50 to $427. That was my zone for calls, which was not the exact low on the day. The exact low on the day was $426. But guess what? We ended up using 30-minute candlestick strategies that prevented us from buying call options at my key level when it didn't work out. And we ended up using 30-minute trading strategies that got us in the green, and we timed it perfectly. Calls at 2:50 p.m., right before the power hour spike, right towards our key level with the profit confirmation. I'm going to show you how we do that. Using confirmations, I was able to prevent taking a loss on calls at my key level, and I was also able to buy calls at the best price and time with confirmation using my key level, and I'm going to explain it to you. So take a look at this, man. Look at this pattern right here. This is absolutely brilliant. SPY is a gap up. It's forming these red bearish 30-minute candlesticks. SPY is a gap up. It's forming these red bearish 30-minute candlesticks. It continues to sell off. It continues to sell off. It's slanted downtrend. Red, green, red continues to drop. Red, green, red continues to drop. When does the SPY bottom? It bottoms towards the end of the day. And we knew in the back of our mind with our trading plan that the SPY was going to try to close strong based off the daily pattern. So when I looked at this pattern, I told myself it's doing the same thing. SPY's gapping up, it's selling off, and then you have the red, green, red, then you have the red, green, red, then you have the continuation of the sell-off. And then later into the day, as the market is closing, the SPY starts to reverse and go bullish once it forms that 30-minute green bullish candlestick right here, and then it skyrockets. Once it forms that green bullish trend reversal 30-minute candlestick right here, literally right towards our key level, and if it forms lower than our key level, that's an even better opportunity to buy an oversold level, then it starts to skyrocket. So using that 30-minute trading strategy, I was able to identify when this 30-minute candlestick closed right here, I said, this is bullish, and the SPY is going to start to spike. It's going to try to retest the high towards this wicks. Everyone was bullish in that sense within the chat. And then I ended up doing calls in terms of when I did them exactly at 2:50 p.m. right before power hour. I did them a little bit later. But you guys know within my lessons, I teach all the time. when SPY is at that key support level where we're interested in buying calls, which it was, and it was even lower, which is better for our calls. And when it forms this green 30-minute candlestick, what do I tell you it's going to do? I say this all the time. It's going to try to spike back to the high of this wick. Surely enough, on that first green 30-minute candlestick, it spiked back to the high of the wick on the opening of the next 30 minutes. Now, in terms of this alert, let's discuss the alert. So if you type in the chat right here, because everything I say in these videos is documented. I cannot lie. Everything I tell you is documented within these videos in our Discord server. So 427 calls. 427 calls right here, you're going to see, oh, he's in 427 calls at 2:50 p.m. Imagine how much it's going to be worth to see the trade logs of these actual alerts. So 2:50 p.m., I'm in 427 calls. This is my second trade on the day. Do you see how long I waited for my zone to hit? Not only did I wait for the zone to hit, but I waited for the confirmation, right? My levels can work, but they can work a later time in the day. So you got to use some sort of confirmation, right? So with that being said, let's go to 2:50 p.m. So in terms of the entry on calls, I ended up buying calls towards the exact lows on the dip. So if we go to 2:50 p.m. right here, you're going to see this is where it was literally bottoming out. And as soon as I got in, it had a massive spike. G-Roar ended up buying calls a little bit earlier than me, basically had the same entry, and he made a 200% profit return on SPX. Earlier in the day, he absolutely crushed it with Tesla. He also crushed another trade right before the close on calls, and those calls went up from like 6 to 8 cents all the way to 30 cents. He crushed it, man. The amount of wealth that we are creating within Trader Society is remarkable. And I'm truly proud and dedicated to be working with the team. And I'm grateful for the network that I've started and created, because some of the people within my network have changed my lives. It's not just me changing other people's lives. G-Roar has helped change my life massively. Financially, mentally, spiritually. He's someone I'm very close with who has helped change my life for the better as well. So big shout out to him. But anyways, in terms of why I ended up buying there, let's start off with the 30-minute chart. So I bought this right before this 30-minute candlestick was about to close, which means that I'm anticipating for either a strong close on the 30, or I'm anticipating that the next 30 minutes are going to be bullish, right? So in terms of that, situation, let's go to the chart right here. So in terms of when I was buying those calls, the reason why is SPY was at our key support. I already explained it to you. It's going to try to retest the high of this wick, and it's going to try to explode up. And showing that past 30-minute pattern on the SPY, what it's going to try to do is it is going to try to continue to run. You can see right here, when it formed the green bullish candlestick, all it did was explode up throughout the day. The same pattern was occurring. How many of you saw that? That's what we do. We capture patterns in real time. That's what I do in Trader Society in terms of the real-time experience. I'm showing them these patterns in real time and what's supposed to play out. And then when I see confirmation of that pattern, of that history repeating itself, I will alert my trades in real time. So when I saw the 30-minute bullish candlestick just like this, with that pattern that was already repeating itself in the morning, I said, you know what? When this 30-minute candlestick closes, which it ended up closing in the opening, the next one was towards, towards 2:30 p.m., I started buying calls when it was at support. So I came up with my support level by doing this. I looked at the 1-minute chart. What's a good price for calls, since I'm bullish on the 30 minutes based off the pattern? A good price for calls is right around here. The previous resistance that was not retested. You had previous resistance right here towards 426.55. You had some resistance right here towards 426.70. This is a previous resistance zone. The SPY had a breakout above this zone and it never came back down. So since the pattern is supposed to go bullish, it is going to try to bottom at that previous resistance on the 1-minute chart and turn it into support. That's how I came up with my entry for calls using the 1-minute chart. And then we scaled out on the rips and we absolutely crushed it, man. You should see. The chat went crazy, man. This was the best trade we had on the day. This was my second trade. As soon as I got in, like 5 minutes later, it spiked like crazy. We can't stop winning. We just keep on winning. 2:50 p.m. G-Roar. We're closing at 428. It's closed at 427.48, but not only did it close nearly where I said it would, it spiked higher. It spiked to $429. Those calls went up multiple 100%, if you did SPX at least, right? And the whole chat was crushing that trade, man. You'll see, man. We all crushed that trade. It was absolutely insane, man. And I added right here at 2:53 p.m. I was adding into my calls as well. And then we all sold the rip, man. It was crazy. Within like 5 minutes, I was up 18%. And then within 10 minutes, I was up 100%. And see, he's a day trader. G-Roar is a day trader. So like when I'm up like 30, 40%, I look to sell. G-War's telling me, don't sell. He's always looking out for the team, man. He told me not to sell. That one message alone would have made me an extra 100%. And if I did SPX with him, that would have made me 200% because he made double with SPX. I'm doing SPY because I'm a scalper. Dude's a fucking genius. So with that being said, man, big shout out to him. I sold for 50% very, very quickly within just 6 minutes. I sold. And I left some runners on, and those runners ended up yielding me 114% return. We had one member make $4,300 within those 7 minutes. We had one guy make 133% profit within those 7 minutes. We had one person make over, this guy right here, he made a nice $500, $600 profit, it looks like. We had one guy, man, I'm trying to find it, so many profits, 78% profit on the day. We had one guy make over $5,000. This is it. This guy made $5,000 within those 10 minutes. So that's what we do, man. We take money out of the market at the speed of light. And G-Roar, he's like the version of me who day trades. He completes the group. He's like me in a sense, but he doesn't like scalp super quick. He'll hold like 10, 15, 20, 30 minutes like a day trader, but they're hitting like multiple 100% at the speed of light, man. He's on another level. I do it at the speed of light in terms of like when I get in, it's perfect timing for the most part. 10, 20, 30, 40% within like minutes, within 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes. He does the same thing, but triple the time basically, but the gains are so much bigger, man. It's truly incredible. You can be successful doing either one. You don't have to master both, but it's really nice to have, someone else looking out for you in that sense. And you should leave some runners, hold a little bit because it does, make you a lot more profit as well. And it helps, as well if you have some losses on scalps. It really helps set that apart too. So big shout out to G-War. He absolutely crushed it. This is the power of Trader Society and the team that we have. And this guy's an absolute legend, man. I'm truly blessed and honored to be working with him. So I'm going to leave it off at that, man. That's what we do within Trader Society. We absolutely crush it. And if you want to join, it's a one-time fee. It's a lifetime access. I've asked my members, how much do you guys think we should charge for this? They're all telling me you should be charging $1,500 a year minimum. Right now, it's a one-time fee, it's a lifetime access, and it's a lot less than that. I'm doing the best deal possible for literally you guys. If I wanted to, I can take this to a yearly recurring program. I could charge $2,000 a year. I can get the people if I wanted to, right? So as a brand, I'm making this the best offer for you as possible, and I will continue to do that. But as time goes on, we will likely be raising the price. I have to figure out in terms of as a brand, what direction I want to take this. Because like I said, I can take this company into anything I want to. I can charge $2,500 a year. I can take this to any place I want to. I'm just figuring out as a brand, as a person, what part do I want to play? What do I want to do? Because in terms of how I started this, I've started this company giving you guys the best deal possible. A one-time fee, lifetime access. It started at $400. A year later, we had so many people crush it. We've created multimillionaires. Now it's $600. And as time goes on, I can continue to raise it. I can raise it to $1,000. I can raise it to $1,500. I can switch it from lifetime access to recurring. I'm aware of all these things. So I'm figuring out how I want to be as a brand. But in terms of how I've known I always am, I've always given you guys the best deal, and that's how it's going to be as of now. So I will keep it at that, but I'm telling you, as time goes on, we're going to continue to raise the price, man, because if I really wanted to charge what I worth and I put more time in, like this is going to be, I can charge a lot more. So it's the first link down below in the description. I'll leave it off at that if you guys want to join, and you can start studying the video lesson library and the video lessons in there as well, along with networking with the people here in the community. So I'm going to leave it off at that. That's how we crushed it both ways in the market. I will see you within the next lesson on Sunday, where I will be giving you the price action analysis for the trading plan on Monday.